here. Hey. It's Leah here. Sorry about that. As you can see, I am here. I am ready for Power Jam. I am keeping it nice and cozy in my Jamberry robe this week. That's right, girls. This sweet little robe is what they gave us at the executive retreat, and I am absolutely in love with it. It's so cozy, and especially for these cooler days. Like today it was warm, but this evening it's starting to cool off, and I'm in my basement. So I'm loving it. Hopefully many of you will get one of these in the future. I'd like to see so many of you succeed and make it to executive one day and grab one of these babies because they are amazing. And yes, check it out. I have neutral nails for like the first time in possibly 2 years. I don't even know. It's been a long time. So anyway, let me go ahead and get started with the screen share, get things going for you guys. I don't want to keep you all night, but I want to congratulate you on making it to week 4 of Power Jam. Woohoo! So we made it. We are actually here. We made it to week 4. We started this group with about 135 consultants. I was wrong originally with our original account. We had 200 girls who initially showed interest, and then we had 135 sign up. We are down to 30 girls. You are among the elite of the elites in our Power Jam group, and I am so excited to have you here. I want to start off today super strong, celebrating some big victories that we had this week. And I really enjoyed seeing you guys share your victories on the Power Jam page. I don't know if you got as much out of that as I did, but it was really so exciting to me to see how you guys kind of bond together and celebrate your victories together, and how you hold each other up and lift each other up. So to me, that was one of the best parts when I went through the first few sessions of Power Jam that I did as a consultant, and then I did executive Power Jam. To me, one of the best parts is when you share your victories, being able to celebrate it and walk that road hand in hand with the consultants beside of you. And so to me, I thought that was, it creates such a sense of camaraderie. I'm starting to see some little baby friendships forming, and it makes me so excited for what you guys have coming, because I know this road. I know the excitement that comes from walking side by side with comrades and helping each other fight your battles and plan together. And I love it. I'm super excited. So some of just a handful of the victories that I wanted to that I noticed on the team page, and there are so many to celebrate, but I know that Shannon Warren she did exactly what I said. She went out and created her recruiting script and then practiced it on 3 people, and yeah, she got herself a recruit this week. So I think her recruit is signing up on March 1st, and I am super excited for her. Way to go, Shannon. And then Meredith Duvall said that she was working with her hostess, and her hostess is extremely excited about her party, and she really wants everything in the catalog. And when Meredith was talking to her husband about it, her husband handed her his credit card and said, well, you need to be prepared. And he told her to go buy the celebration box and have it ready for her party. That is such a huge victory on 2 parts, because one, you're building the support that you need, the kind of foundational support, product support that you need to have on hand to do home parties and have the knowledge that you need for this business. But 2, you have spousal support. And honest to goodness, when you have that support from your significant other, it makes all of the difference in the world. Meredith, I want you to take a couple minutes tonight, and I want you to celebrate your husband. I want you to take some time to appreciate that man, because he has been good to you, and you let him know. We all appreciate that, and so yeah, celebrate that with him. And then Chrislyn Kane. Chrislyn, I love you so much, girl. She said she had 2 parts of her victory, and the thing I love about hers is it starts out with a celebration for her downline. So she has seen a downline become remotivated and wants to relaunch herself, and she's working with her. And the thing that is so amazing to me about that is that we have the opportunity to celebrate other success and help them create their own success. We get to have a hand in that. And I so know that sense of accomplishment when you see a downline who wants to succeed and has the drive to succeed, and you're there to help. So I'm celebrating with you too, Chrislyn. And then she said she also took some time to create a better follow-up system and follow up with her customers. And I'm sure that doesn't have anything to do with planners or stickers or anything like that, but those are some tools that I use. And if you want more information on how I or Chrislyn do our follow-up, we would love to share that with you. You can, we love, I want to see people interact on our Power Jam page, even long-term. So don't hesitate to share those ideas that you come up with, because what's a success for you may be a success for someone else as well. So moving on, this week we're going to talk about management skills. We're going to talk about business management, time management. We're going to talk about how to make the most out of your business. And we really want you to and it's not just about your time management skills, your business management. There's an emotional aspect as well, because let's face the facts. We are working with women all day, every day. Every group that we come into contact with is filled with women all day, every day. And while we love women, we love each other, we're a great support network, we also have a tendency to be emotional. And so emotions play into our reactions and our actions a lot of times. And so it can cause it can sometimes cause roadblocks that are unnecessary. Tonight, we're going to talk about a couple of those things, and we're going to start off with time management. For me, one of the things that's always been a reality for me in this business is that I have to be willing to work hard to play hard. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I lead a very busy lifestyle. You know I travel a lot, and I don't just travel for business, I travel for pleasure. Between the months of November through even March, I was traveling at least 1 to 2 weeks every single month. And that means, in December, we went on a 2-week cruise, and then we turned around and we came home and we had to travel to Florida for a funeral, and we turned around and we went to, I had to go to the executive retreat, and then I turned around and we went on winter break. And, so now we're slowing down a little bit, but as a consistent rule, I have to be willing to work hard in the time that I work in order to be able to play hard in the time that I play. And sometimes that means I have to sacrifice my playtime a little bit. Sometimes that means if I'm going on vacation, I have to sacrifice some time to set aside. You guys saw the video last week. You know that I was at Disney World taking some time out to record our Power Jam video for you guys. And sometimes that's what this business is. But there are ways that you can work smarter and not harder, so that even though you're working hard, you can minimize your efforts to save yourself some time and to give you more time to play hard. But you have to be willing to work hard. I know that Holly Annis talks about the time that she has sacrificed away from her family in order to support her business. And for her, it was really important for her to be able to be home with her kids during the daytime, be there to put them on the bus in the morning, get them off the bus at night. And so for her, direct sales was a convenient thing. And someone was always home with her kids. Either herself or her husband were always home with her kids. They didn't ever have an outside daycare source. So for her, that was what worked for her. And she said that was what was the good side of direct sales. But on the flip side, when she would have to pack up her supplies and go get in her car as her husband was putting her boys to bed, she said sometimes that emotional tug just weighed on her. And knowing that she had to be away from them during some of those special times. And so she always says you have to be willing to sacrifice some of your playtime in order to have more playtime long term. And certainly the benefits have outweighed the expenses. She's got 2 great boys who love her and have had so much success because of the support that they receive from their mom. So like I said, we know that it's worth it in the end. We just have to be willing to sacrifice, and it doesn't take much. Like I said, there are so many different methods of support to work smarter during the time that we have and save us more time for playing later. Sorry, guys. I need a drink of water. We do have seasons of focus. So there are some seasons of our life that will be harder than others. And particularly when you run your own business. Initially, Charlie and I called it the 5-year plan. And of course, for Jamberry, it wasn't even a 5-year plan. It was probably like a 5-month plan. But for when he started his own business, we call it the 5-year plan. Now, typically what that means is that, you can expect when people talk about a 5-year plan, they talk about where they would like to be in 5 years. And typically when you do a startup, you don't see real net income until 3 to 5 years down the road. You put in a lot of initial financial investment, time investment, and it doesn't pay off until later on. And it's the same idea in this business. A lot of us get frustrated because a lot of girls start up and they have a slow startup. And they're maybe not making as much money as they want to make during that startup period. And they're spending a lot of money on inventory, and they're spending a lot of money on vendor events in order to get their name out there. And they're spending a lot of money in postage. But the idea is that in the long term, those are the things that will build your rapport and build your business for the long term. And that's why we talk about those seasons of focus. So, and typically it happens, I would say for me, it happens at least once annually, where I go through, probably twice, truthfully, where I go through a month that's just a season I have to focus really hard. We aren't looking for a perfect balanced life during those times. We're looking for harmony. So even though you are running the carpool and you are working a part-time job, or you're doing party nights online and then party nights in home, and then also running your kids to soccer practice, if you can overload yourself during those times so that it can be easier later on, it's really worth it. I know that if during some of my coaching calls that I did earlier in the month, I shared the idea that one of the elites had shared at the executive retreat, and that was that there are some months where she spends all of her time and all of her energy in focusing on recruiting. And what that does is that builds her opportunity for a long term. So she just gets her PRV in, and then she works on, so like for her, for an elite executive, she has to sell $700 a month in order to maintain her title. And then she has to get all of her team members in line, or team managers and stuff in line. But so she focuses on getting that $700 in PRV right away. And then she spends the entire rest of the month just talking to people, networking, finding, putting up job ads online, trying to find other opportunities to reach new potential consultants. And she calls it batch recruiting, and she does it every 3 to 4 months. And I think that's such a critical idea for this business. And when we talk about seasons of focus, that's a perfect example of a season of focus. When you focus on one aspect of your business and you do it with your whole heart for a selected period of time. So that's something I really encourage you to do, is set aside those times when say March is a great month to do it because we have the new catalog launch. You tell yourself, hey, I know it's going to be easy for me to get my sales this month, so I'm going to focus on other aspects of my business, like building new potential recruits, building team managers, building team members up, helping girls reach their fast start periods. And those are the things you focus on. You don't necessarily look for perfect harmony in your business or in your life during those times of effort. But you look for harmony. You look for, at the end of the day, to be like, I've succeeded, to feel like you have accomplished something that you set out to accomplish. Something that really helps us through these harder periods is if you will create systems that support you and that kind of help you work through some of those difficult things. So for me, when we talk about systems, I know that my chaotic schedule is, I know on any given month on the calendar for the next 6 to 8 months, I'm going to be traveling at least once per month. So a system that I have in place is that I like to keep a bag of all of my, and this may sound silly to you, but I like to keep a bag with an extra set of toothbrushes for everybody, every set of toothpaste, and underwear. Silly things I know we'll need. And that way, all I have to do is pick up that bag and throw it in my car. For you, it could be things like having hostess packets pre-prepared, having opportunity packets made up and sitting in your car. I know that Connie Lasita keeps catalogs and opportunity packets in her car, in the backseat of her car at all times. Because if she's going through the drive-through and some girl compliments her on her nails, she'll literally ask her, "Oh man, you would love these. Would you like to have a catalog?" And she hands her a catalog out of her back seat. So think of systems that you can create to help you in your business. I highly recommend things like having sample packets pre-made up. As soon as you get your samples in, sit down and start making up some sample packets. However you do your sample packets, make them up. Petty packs the same way. Prize packs. If you want to, I know that I've had a lot of times where I will put a thank you note in an envelope, and it doesn't have to say anything, but thank you for joining the party, or thank you for your order, or something simple like that. And I'll throw in, a petty pack or a sample or something extra. And so I can have those pre-made up. And as soon as I get an order, all I have to do is stick an address label on that. It makes things so much easier. And then if you, so things that you would do to create systems and to help you get that is create a master list of things that are really important to you. So for instance, look at your lifestyle. What are the 6 most important things that you, for instance, right now? So right now it's soccer season. Soccer season just started in Georgia. So for me, as I look at a weekly thing, as my weekly life, I have the kids' backpacks every single day. I've got soccer practice on Tuesday and Thursday. I've got the gym every single day. So literally, I have my gym bag packed at the beginning of the week. I have my gym bag packed, and I have the kids' stuff lined up for the entire week. And then I have that bag of all of our soccer supplies packed up and ready. And all I have to do is do the laundry and rotate clothes in and out of each bag. And so that while it's certainly not easy, it makes my lifestyle easier. In the same aspect, I look at my business and I do that kind of thing. So for instance, this week, I know that we have new catalog launch. Super exciting. I know that we have the mega party starting, my mega party starting this week. If you're on Kristen Shaver's team, your mega party started last week. And so as I organize my lifestyle, I usually do it week by week, and I call it a brain dump. I sit down and I make a master list of everything that needs to be done this week. I also know that next weekend I have an area meeting coming. If you're in the Atlanta area, come to our area meeting. We want to see you. So I know I make a master list of things every day that need to get done. And then I sit down and I plan out my time accordingly in a planner to make my days run smoother so that I know what I'm looking at the end of each day. And that helps me to create the systems that I need, create a guideline, create a mental checklist every single day. If you're not a person that is a paper planner, like you're not going to write things down, which for me, that's all I can do is just, I have to sit down and write it all down. But if you're not, do something online. I know that there are several apps. There's one I think it's called a sticky note app or something like that, where you can download it and you create a checklist and you literally swipe through and peel off the sticky notes. I know another elite executive she has above her desk in her office, she has a little magnet board that she literally she'll line up a sticky note, all of her sticky notes with checklists of things that she needs to do this week. And she'll pull off sticky notes and then reassemble her list on a daily basis so that she knows kind of what to expect for the week. So those are just some ideas to help you create those systems to work smarter and not harder and generate time management better. Obviously, we talk a lot about Power Hour, and I highly recommend that. And so if you only have 15 to 20 minutes at a time to get things done, kind of organize your day and think about what things will be most beneficial to your business, and then select maybe 3 or 4 of those and do that consistently every day. And if you know you have maybe 6 things that you need to do this week, but you can only commit to doing it in 20-minute increments, break it up by the days. Do 3 of them one day and do 3 of them another, and then go back and do it as you can throughout the week. There's nothing wrong with doing work in smaller increments as long as you're doing it consistently. And that's what we'll preach to you every single day. Charles Schwab teaches this concept that every night before you go to sleep, to make a list of only the top 6 things you need to do the next day, personal or professional. You can combine them. Since these are your 6 big things, you'll want to do them as quickly as possible. The next day, if you haven't done all 6, you move whatever is left to the top of that list for the next day. And that's exactly what I was telling you about with that elite executive. That's the principle she follows. She keeps 6 sticky notes of things that have to get done that day, and then she changes them out as they get done or are not finished. Next, we'll talk about business management and guilt-free communication systems. For me, it's very easy because I have so many girls under me to feel like I'm neglecting either my team or neglecting my customers or neglecting my family at some point in time. I don't ever want you to feel that way. It's a natural wave of relationships, the in and out, up and down. But there are some ways that you can communicate to your teams, your customers, your recruits, and it's just a matter of being prepared. So for us in this case, as I'm helping to build your teams, I can create the systems in PowerJam, and I have for the most part. If you've seen some of the lapses in the daily vitamins not posting at the proper time, but for the most part, we've created systems to help get those communications in place every single day. We've created daily vitamins to kind of help you every single day. I generally do, unless I'm super swamped or out of the country, out of county, out of state. I generally do a tip of the day on my team page where I do a video giving them a general tip to help their business. So those are some methods you can do to communicate with your team without feeling like you're nagging them or, on the opposite end of the spectrum, neglecting them. Then something that Holly-Anna suggests, and I love this idea, is that she keeps handwritten notes in her car. I'm thinking about you. And then she does this for her customers. And she said she would keep, every month she would print out a sheet full of labels with her customers' contact information on them. And then if she's sitting in the car pickup line, or if she's sitting in the drive-through, or she's sitting in line at the bank, she writes a quick note to one of her customers. She'll look at her label and see who's next on the list, and she'll write a quick note to them. Just throw it in an envelope and stick the label on it, and then mail it. It's as simple as that. But it's the idea of having that preparation already in place. So all she has to do is have the thank you notes available, and then an ink pen to write the information in the card. And I think that's such a great way to achieve something even small every single day. I know that is it President Reagan or President Bush? Anyway, one of the presidents said that it was his goal to write one handwritten note every single day. And so I think it's so powerful when you just communicate to let someone know you're thinking about them, or you hope they're doing well, or you're hoping they're enjoying their jams. It makes such a difference in your relationship with them, and it can do the same for your business. Sorry, guys. When we talk about money and how we handle our money, having systems in place to help us manage our money is also critical. If you're not using some of the like the TaxBot app or something similar, I think that not H&R Block, but maybe TaxAct or one of them helps you, has a free app that will let you like take pictures of your receipts and stuff and file them away for tax purposes. If you're not utilizing something like that, and TaxBot is completely free and available in our back office, all you have to do is kind of log in and set it up, set your login information up, and then you have access to it. And so if you're not utilizing something like that to keep track of your expenses on a monthly basis, so that at the end of the year you can write off everything that you've spent during the year, then I highly recommend you do that. At the same time, I think it's important for us to set a budget for ourselves every month. How much are you going to spend on marketing materials every month? Hopefully nothing. If you're selling $600 or more every single month, hopefully you don't have to invest in marketing materials. You can use that marketing credit. But in the instance of, say, a new catalog launch or something like that, where you want to order extra supplies, how much are you willing to spend? Is it $50? Is it $100? How much are you willing to spend on postage? And obviously it's up to you, and you can look up ideas for what good guidelines there are. I know for me, in my business is obviously a little bit larger than yours is, because I end up sending out a lot of stuff to my team, and a lot of stuff to my customers every single month. So I usually budget about $100 a month for postage. Now, I don't think that there's any reason that any of you should be spending anything over maybe $20 a month in postage, unless you're having more than 10 parties a month, in which case you probably want to spend at least $50 a month in postage, but you should be seeing a return on that. So in the same way, just be conscientious, keep track of your expenses, keep track of what you're spending and what your income earnings are. Always, always, always set aside money to prepare yourself for tax time. Our guideline is 25 to 30% is what we put away every single month from my paycheck to help us pay our taxes. And that can be, that's from commissions as well as bonus. Every single month I try to set aside 25 to 30%. And as your commissions continue to grow, you can pay taxes quarterly to help you, so you don't have to pay in so much at the end of the year. And then lastly, and this is where I highly recommend you invest in help. Girls, if you don't know about Postcron, if you don't know about Tiny Torch, if you don't know about the tools that are out there to help you so that you're not constantly sitting on your phone, on Facebook, if you don't know about, I just highly recommend you learn about auto posting sites. I recommend Postcron because it's from my experience the quickest, easiest tool for long-term use, and it's one of the least flagged for spam. I don't know that it's ever been flagged for spam. It's never been down. But Tiny Torch is Tiny Torch is free. If you look in your back office, you should be able to find a link to Tiny Torch for Jamboree users, and you can go there. You can see what other consultants are using to post to their parties, and you can copy it and just create, generate your information in it and post it to your parties as well. And you can schedule it for your parties. So you could schedule a whole party in a couple minutes via Tiny Torch. In the same way, if you don't have time to sit down and write out notes or mail envelopes or maybe clean your house, don't be afraid. As your finances increase from this business, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. I haven't for the last year, I mean, I've been on the road for a long time, on and off for the last 6 months. And my household has really suffered from that. My organization at home has really suffered for that. And I finally had to put my foot down and say, you know what, I'm going to have someone come in here and help me once a week. And it's very humbling to me because I feel like I should be able to do that as a stay-at-home, work-at-home mom. I should be able to take care of my own household. But one thing that I realized in the long term is that when I'm able to spend my money that I earned from Jamberry, and it's not much. I mean, I pay a girl for like 3 hours once a week to come out and do the things that I don't have time for: vacuum, dust, pick up, unload my dishes, clean my showers, whatever. And when I'm able to do that, I have time to focus on the things that are my passion. And you know what? I'm also able to help her and her family. And to me, that's one of the biggest aspects of this business, is that I wanted to be able to not just change my family's life, but change someone else's life. And I had to step back and say, this is not about my pride in my own housekeeping skills. This is about the opportunity for me to focus on my business growing and helping you girls succeed, and helping her to change her lifestyle and do something different for her. And so that's where you have to don't be afraid to take the time to invest in help if you need it. This is a touchy subject. As we move into talking about emotional management, it is so easy in this business to just get overwhelmed with the emotions. And I'll be honest with you guys, there was a day last week where I was completely overwhelmed with emotion when it came to this business. And I'm sure it was partially from exhaustion, but there are times where that happens. And there's going to be times when that happens for you. And so you have to realize that our emotional management is crucial to the longevity and joyfulness of your business. You're only going to find joy in this as long as you can keep your emotions in check. People you've invested in personally and emotionally will stop doing Jamberry. I'm going to say that again. You are going to pour your heart and soul into people, and they will quit on you. And you have to be okay with that. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's heartbreaking. Sometimes they are your very best friend in this business, and they step back. And sometimes it's hard, but you have to realize that people, the way that life works is people move into your life and out of your life. And sometimes Jamberry is not for everyone long term. And you have to recognize that if this is not the best for them and their families, then you need to refocus your efforts on someone else and let her have a way out. People will come and go, and they aren't trying to hurt you. They're trying to do their own thing. They're trying to do what's best for themselves or their family. And sometimes they aren't meant to be in this business for a long time. So if they walk away, that's okay. Some will and some won't. But someone else is out there waiting who does want this opportunity. So as we talk about emotional intelligence in the aspect of emotional management, it consists of 4 attributes. Self-awareness, where you recognize your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. You know your strengths and weaknesses, and you have self-confidence. I don't know if you recognize this or not, but your self-esteem and your self-confidence comes from you. It's not about what anyone thinks about you. It's not about what anyone says about you. It's about what you think about you and what you tell yourself about yourself. Another aspect is self-management. You're able to control impulsive feelings and behaviors. You're able to manage your emotions in healthy ways, take initiative and follow through on commitments, and adapt to changing circumstances. You take control when you're having challenging moments. If you're striving for perfectionism, you're only going to frustrate yourself. So for me, I'm really good at this in some aspects. I'm really good at self-management when it comes to disciplining myself for, say, exercise, weight loss, diet. I am really bad at this, at self-management, when it comes to disciplining my children and maintaining calm behavior in the face of just absolute frustration. And I am aware of it. I have rational thoughts about how, the whole time, if I'm frustrated at my children, I can think, you're only frustrated because you're tired, or you're only frustrated because, or he's only frustrated because he's tired. We've talked about my son and how we have very similar personalities, and we're both very quick to certain personality traits. And so we tend to butt heads a lot. And so I can rationally think, you just need to stop. You just need to stop talking, because it's not going to work with him. And I just refuse to do it because I just want to get my point across, and it's pointless. So in some aspects, I'm really good at self-management, and in others, I fail every single time. And sorry to confess that to you guys, but it's true. Then we talk about social awareness. You understand the emotions, needs, and concerns of other people. You pick up on emotional cues. You feel comfortable socially, and you recognize the power of dynamics in a group or organization. So you basically understand what's going on in your social group. You kind of know whether it's a healthy place or not, or if you have bad seeds of, team members who tend to be negative. You have a general idea of the feelings of those around you. And I feel like most of us think we have this. And then, for instance, in a social setting, if someone is trying to communicate about their emotions and you get uncomfortable and you try to change the subject, that's kind of a cue that maybe you don't realize that they need to get something off their chest. So, but it is, as we get older, we become more socially aware of that kind of thing. And then lastly, relationship management. You know how to develop and maintain good relationships. You communicate clearly, and you inspire and influence others. You work well in a team, and you manage conflict easily. I think the key here is that you know how to set, when you're in a relationship, you know kind of how to set your expectations, and then you communicate them, because those are some of the key points to building relationships and managing relationships. But those are all aspects of emotional intelligence. So if you had a printed report of your team, and hang on, I want to read this correctly. So I guess I think we're talking about with the, you can Sharpie individuals out of your life. So if you had a printed report of your team and you think it's okay to Sharpie somebody out of your reports if they are frustrating you or are a negative influence with your team, you hurt people to hurt people. So that's what the Sharpie individuals out of your life is about. So sometimes it's going to be very tempting to just walk away from people. I know that I've had relationships with girls who are really, really negative, and they don't see how that plays into their business. And so sometimes I have to ignore the negativity, but I never ignore the person, if that makes sense. So, and sometimes you have to do that in your business. You have to ignore the things. And sometimes having relationships with people and managing relationships with people is about ignoring their flaws or things that you consider to be their flaws in order to maintain the relationship. Does that make sense? So things you can do to work on your emotional management. Don't react right away. This is where I fail every single time when I'm disciplining my children, is that I think I need to react immediately. And I don't need to do it. You can ask for divine intervention. So for me, this is a big thing because I think you all know that I'm kind of a very spiritual person. And for me this morning in church, it was one of those things where I always feel convicted about not being a great mom or not disciplining correctly. And so I always sit down and I just have a little come to Jesus moment and say, God, I need help with this week. I need to do better than I did last week. I failed every single day last week. I don't communicate with my team effectively a lot of times. And so this is something that I actually prayed this week or this morning in church. And it's that I could see the success of you guys before I see my own success. That I would focus so much on your success and be more excited about helping you guys succeed than I am even about my own success. Because for me, this is a mission field. This is my ministry. Helping you guys succeed is one of the biggest things that I can do. And so for me, that's what I prayed. And so in the same aspect, we do that as moms, right? We ask for guidance from others on how to help our kids succeed, how to help our kids grow up and be the best that they can be. Why wouldn't we do this in our teams? And so that's what I mean when I prayed the same thing for my kids too. God, please give me so much desire for my children's success that I don't even see my own success. Find a healthy outlet. Oh my goodness. I think that if you know me and you've followed me for the last month, you know that I've been doing a lot of healthy things like burpees every single day. And sometimes it's not easy, but it is something that gives me the opportunity to vent frustration and to not think about the things that are stressing me out. So I encourage you, if you have something that does kind of clear your mind and take you away, it can be quiet time. It could be exercise. It can be reading a book. It could be, spiritual moments, things like that kind of remove the stress from your life and give you a moment to refocus your energies. Find that. Do it every single day. Do it multiple times a day if you need to. If you know me, you also know that I'm kind of a reader. And so I always set aside a little bit of time every day where I stop working and I allow myself even 10 to 15 minutes of pleasure reading. And so typically I do it in the car pickup line. So if you're messaging me at 2:00 in the afternoon, you're not going to get an answer from me because I'm either driving to pick my kids up from school or sitting in the car pickup line reading my book. And so find those healthy kind of outlets and set some time aside to focus on those things. And so you can feel a little bit re-energized and like you're not all consumed with this emotional stress that you may carry. See the bigger picture. Don't let things get to you. 1, 5, 10 people leaving your team is not going to have an impact when you keep, if you continue doing your own personal business. So when we talk about the bigger picture, so like I said earlier, when I talk about the bigger picture for me is not necessarily me becoming a lead executive. Sure, I would love that. But the bigger picture for me is seeing as many of you become executives, team managers, lead executives, elite executives. Do you know how huge that would be for me that I helped to get you there? So I want you to think about the bigger picture, your goals for the long term, and think about those aspects. And if you refocus your energies, I know a lot of times when I'm dieting, if I'm dieting for a specific reason, like at Christmas time when we were going on that 2-week cruise, and I was trying to get in shape before we left, I literally hung a bikini up in my closet so that I could see it every day and kind of refocus my energies on that. So find something to refocus your energies every single day and just focus on that. Replace your thoughts, change your negative for positive. So when we go down that negative road, and I tell my son this all the time, we have two choices. We can either be upset about the situation or look for the good in the situation. And so I play this game a lot of times where when anything bad in the world happens, a lot of you might remember that quote from Mr. Rogers about how anytime something catastrophic in the world happens, you can always find the good by looking for the people who are there to help. And so I always, instead of seeing the bad, I try to focus on the good and replace that negative energy. Now, sometimes this is hard, especially when you've coordinated all of these plans and everything goes awry and nothing's going your way and you just want to stomp your feet and kick your foot and pitch a fit in the floor. Sometimes it's really hard to fight that, but try to always look for the good and replace that negative energy with something positive. And then forgive yourself for the emotional triggers. This is huge for me. I think that I've been completely transparent in how maybe my emotions can run rampant on a daily basis. And I go up and I come down, and I'm human. I vent my frustrations to the people that I love, and they vent theirs right back at me. It's a two-way street. And we still love each other. And the thing I've learned is that I say I'm sorry. And the things that they've learned is that they say they're sorry. And we forgive each other. We love each other. We move on. And if I can ask my kids to forgive me for maybe fussing at them in the car because they didn't get to school on time, or they didn't get ready on time, and they say yes, then why can't I forgive myself for my failures? You see what I'm saying? If my 6-year-old, if I can ask him, will you forgive me for being a bad mom? And he can say, yes, I love you. Then why can't I ask myself, can you forgive yourself for failing? And I can say, yes, I still love you. I think a lot of times when we get so hung up on our failures that we forget that we need to love ourselves through them. And so I encourage you to take some time to love yourself. Love yourself. Don't focus on what you're failing at. Kind of think about the things that you've succeeded in, and even if it's only small things. So refocus your energies and love yourself. I want to read this really quickly. This is a really good quip, and I would highly suggest that you should take a screenshot and keep it somewhere. I did. I just love it. It's reason, season, or a lifetime. It says, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. When you figure out which one it is, you will know what to do for each person. When someone is in your life for a reason, it is usually to meet a need that you have expressed. They have come to assist you through a difficulty, to provide you with guidance and support, to aid you physically, emotionally, or spiritually. They may seem like a godsend, and they are. So sorry. They're there for the reason that you need them to be. Then, without any wrongdoing on your part, or at an inconvenient time, this person will say or do something to bring their relationship to an end. Sometimes they die. Sometimes they walk away. Sometimes they act up and force you to take a stand. What we must realize is that our need has been met, our desire has been fulfilled, and their work is done. The prayer that you sent up has been answered, and now it is time to move on. Some people come into your life for a season because your turn has come to share, grow, or learn. They bring you an experience of peace or make you laugh. They may teach you something you've never done. They usually give you an unbelievable amount of joy. Believe it. It's real, but it's only for a season. Lifetime relationships teach you lifetime lessons, things you must build upon in order to have a solid emotional foundation. Your job is to accept the lesson, love the person, and put what you've learned to use in all other relationships and areas of your life. It is said that love is blind, but friendship is clairvoyant. And I can think of no better way to put it. I know as I've kind of grown up, I've seen how many relationships come and go. And they're reasons, they're seasons, or they're lifetimes. And it's not necessarily wrongdoing. Sometimes God just brings people in and out of your life for different reasons. And as my goal is, as God brings different people in and out of my life, I want to be able to touch their lives with a little bit of beauty and a little bit of hope and a little bit of future. And so for me, I want to be as beneficial to that person in the time that I have with them as possible. And sometimes it could turn out to be a lifetime. But the only way it turns out to be a lifetime is if I continue that relationship in the same way every single day. And I continue to see through the flaws and see through the angst, see through the emotions, and get up and decide that I'm going to love that person despite all of that. with all of the knowledge that our friendship has brought with it. So now that we've been emotional and I'm holding back tears, let's talk about homework. So this week is easy. We're going to do 3 mandatory portions. I want you to focus on your time management and post about a time management change for this week. I want you to focus on your business management. What are you going to change about your business management this week? And go ahead and post it in our Facebook group. Then emotional management change. What are you focusing on in your emotional management that you're going to be changing? And then post about that this week. The reason I say this and the reason I'm asking you to do that is because we are down to 30 girls in this group. That's just a small number. That's a small enough number to maintain friendships, build loyalty, and build accountability. And as you set these things in practice and 30 other girls see it and 30 other girls read it, they're going to remember what you said. And in 60 days or 90 days, when y'all are still in this Facebook group, you can come back and say, hey, Shannon, how are you doing on your time management goals? Did that work for you? Because I think I'm going to try it. And so that's what I encourage as you build these relationships. That's what's going to happen down the line. So posting about it keeps you accountable, and it gives us an idea of what is going to work for you or what you think will work for you. Then the select 4 to complete portion will be, again, power hour. You can do 1, 2, 3, or 4 power hours, any combination of 4 of these. So power hour, hold or close 1 party in the next 7 days, book 2 new parties, sponsor 1 new recruit, or make 20 commercial calls in the next 7 days. And then after that, once you've completed this portion, you are on to graduation. I want to see all 30 of you guys back here next week for our graduation. Hopefully we can have a special guest with us, although I think we can make it happen. So I am looking forward to next week and our graduation call, and congratulations, guys, on making it this far. I'm so proud of you. Please let me know if you have any questions about our homework or want to talk any more about some of the discussions this week, our managing skills, and I'll see you back later. Bye, girls.